we starting again?
Yes.
You're down to 30 minutes, and these conversations take 30 or 40.
Okay, so the main idea I took away from this was the idea of self-interest over love. As Bassanio's plan was entirely to marry Portia for her money to clear his debts. While he believes that she loves him and he loves her, ultimately he decides to enact this plan simply due to the fact that he needs her money to clear his debts. The plot I have is Bassanio explaining his plan to Antonio, asking him for the money to go through this. Bassanio says, "In Belmont there is a lady richly left, and she is fair and fairer than that word, Of wondrous virtues, sometimes from her eyes, I did receive fair, speechless messages. Her name is Portia, nothing undervalued. So what I took away was that, he likes her, but it's all about the money, and that's all he really needs, and that's the whole motivation of the character in the entire play. I think it portrays him as just the pretty greedy character relevant at the time, only marrying her for her money, and that I really question how much do they actually love her, how much does he actually love her, rather than loving the idea of having her clear out all his debts. I also kind of wonder whether Portia actually loves him too, as she has no real, she gains no value from actually marrying him, whereas him and everybody else going after her simply wants her for her money, or inadvertently is going after her for her money, since everybody knows she's very wealthy after her father passed away. And I also think that the father kind of saw this coming, since he decided to enact this whole trial of boxes, right, to choose whether someone's worthy. But in the end, it's just whether they're worthy or not of getting that money. In the end, I think this kind of stuck with me, since it's kind of the antithesis of the entire work in its own. The merchant of Venice implies that there's a capitalistic value in the actual play, and the capitalistic value is just simply marrying somebody for her money, while asking someone to give him the money to compete with the other people with money to get money from Portia. That's the confusing process. It's about everybody responds for about a minute. Yes.
Well, I think what you say does I think what you say does make sense, in the sense that Portia may not necessarily love Bassanio, since at the start, when everyone was coming to suit her, she didn't really care less. She was complaining every time we meet her. She's complaining with her friend that she doesn't like this test that her father set up. And I think it's also right that you say Bassanio doesn't really love Portia as opposed to just wanting Portia's money, because he doesn't have, at the play, he doesn't have any money either.
I agree with you, and I feel like that you're right about this. I can't remember what we said in the beginning about Bassanio's plan. I would, however, disagree with you about questioning whether Portia loves Bassanio. Yes, the ring scene in the end could be an indicator of future trouble to come. However, like you said, Portia has nothing to gain by marrying Bassanio, which means that, considering that she actually wants to marry Bassanio, there's got to be some other motivator other than money at work here in order to convince Portia to marry Bassanio. That's about a minute. Okay.
So I actually agree with Evan here, and disagree with both of you guys about Portia's love for Bassanio. I feel like when Portia was naming the bad qualities of suppose the Prince of Marco and all that, she didn't really do that when Marissa when she mentioned Bassanio to her, and the fact is that when Bassanio was about to do the test where he had to pick the right basket, Portia was actually like nervous, and you could tell that she wanted Bassanio to pick the right basket, and he ended up doing it. And I do agree with your claim about Bassanio not really loving Portia and going into it for the money, and you could also see that by him like risking his friend's life for it, and but this changes later in the passage, and I feel like he gains some sense from it.
So the main idea that I got from this play is the idea of mercy and discrimination, mainly seen in Shylock and his actions, winning this pound of flesh from Antonio, and how like, they have a bit of a rivalry between them simply because one's considered Jewish. The quote I picked was from Act 4, Scene 1, lines 36. We have Shylock. 35, we have the Duke ending off saying, "We all expected a gentle answer, Jew." And he says, "I possess your grace of what I purpose, and by our holy Sabbath have I sworn to the due and forfeit of my blood. If you deny it, put the danger light upon your character and your city's freedom." What I grab from this is how everybody expects Shylock to be a kind man, but instead he insists on having this pound of flesh simply because he bears a grudge against Antonio. This demonstration of a lack of mercy is what I believe caused the problem in the play. Because if Shylock were a kind man, just accepted like a set of interest, none of the plot of the story possibly could have happened. So I believe that this idea of discrimination and mercy is really what drives the play into the plot and how it truly makes the story. Further along the path, we can see Antonio himself. He also doesn't really make Shylock feel really well when he's always getting debts and not really nothing I think about it. I mean, this could also be part of what drives the plot as simply like just people being rude to each other who lead to lots of things along the line. And like mainly this arrogance that we see throughout the play can also be reflected in real life. How when people bear grudges against each other, like different races, and how there are lots of stereotypes associated with each other, this makes us more separated, likely for conflict, which I don't think is. Which I think this play really shows us, demonstrates to us quite clearly, and it's reflected nowadays since because of all of our inequalities.
I'll go. So I agree with Peter when he says like that really the play does a good job. Does a good job expressing the fact that the more divided we are, the more discriminate we are against each other. Difference such as our religion, we kind of cause and draw conflicts amongst each other. And I would also kind of like to point out that I think Shylock has no mercy, or is depicted as having no mercy, simply because he's a Jew, and that was kind of the stereotypical interpretation of a Jew at the time, to portray him as like an evil person who is against God and hates Christian. So instead of actually being reasonable and just taking triple the money or having interest like he normally would, he insists on taking flesh and making a Christian Antonio suffer.
So I agree with your statement about the stereotypes of Jews, and I'd like to add on about Shylock when he lost his daughter Jessica when she ran away. His priorities were on the Antonio's death, not return, rather than Jessica, which really shows his drive and hunger for revenge with Antonio. And it also is shown when he asks for a pound of flesh deal, like something that would seem really useless at first, but that's his ways of just saying, yeah, he really wants mercy on Antonio for all the things that he's been called, like in the play, he's been called like a dog, he's been made fun of, and also at one part he was really happy when Antonio could get his debt back rather than being mad because he knew that it was time for him to get his payback.
Alright. I feel like I see what y'all were talking about when you were talking about Jewish stereotypes. Like this was the stereotype at the time that Jews were mean, greedy people. Like in the play when Jessica runs away, Shylock isn't focusing so much that his daughter just ran away from him. He's focusing more on the fact that she took about half his fortune when she ran away. He's worrying more about the money she stole than his own daughter, which goes without saying is a very bad quality. Additionally, like what you said, Shylock, he's obviously the antagonist of the story, and he gives plot to the story. Just marrying Portia, that was more or less. The plot could have easily gone.
Peter, you have to do something.
That was mine.
Yeah, I know, but like at the end, I forgot to do this, but at the end, like the person who spoke first has to do one thing, like summing up everything. So yeah, you can do it first.
So basically, I brought up the quote of Bassanio telling Antonio his plan to marry Portia. And Belmont is a rich lady, richly left. She's fair and fairer than the word of wondrous virtue, something from her eyes. I did receive fair and patient messages. I could go on. And then I brought up the idea that Bassanio doesn't really love Portia, and that he is only seeking to marry her only for her money and the ability for her to clear his debts. While many of you countered that. Oh, and I also mentioned that Portia may not love Bassanio, while many of you countered that Portia has nothing to gain from marrying Bassanio at all. And then still kind of questioning whether Bassanio does really love Portia, or whether they are truly in love with each other. Sorry about that. Peter?
So, I like what you all said. I'm glad that we all agree that Shylock's arrogance is what really broke the plot where it was. But I'd like to reinforce the idea that this movie was reflected in today's world, how prostitutes exist all over everything on the scene. They might not be as threatening as like a life as in the play, but like we can see like bullying, for example, usually caused by these differences. I'm pretty sure you all know like the incident that happened during school was like this, and I just feel like this makes the play a lot deeper than it would be if we couldn't relate, because when you can, you get this sort of meaning that we all understand.
So my topic or idea is Antonio's loyalty and really self-pity that he portrays for Bassanio in the beginning of the play, which sets this act one or scene one. Antonio says, "I pray you, good Bassanio, let me know it, and if it stand as you yourself still do, within the eye of honor, be assured. My purse, my person, my extremest means lie all unlocked to your occasions." So in the beginning of the play, and Antonio was like depressed, not really feeling himself, and he straight away just agrees with Bassanio that he'll pay his debts so he can marry Portia, and this could be. One could claim that this is why Antonio is not the main character or the protagonist of the story, is because he's just, you can call him a side character. He's still important. He basically makes a deal with Shylock, which alters the plot, and he's the reason for Shylock's greediness and hunger for revenge. And you could also see this at the end of the play, where even after Antonio was saved after the Pound of Flesh battle, he still was willing to risk his life for Bassanio at the end, which really shows that you could maybe say that he has a deep love relationship with Bassanio, even if Bassanio doesn't necessarily care for him, but yeah. Also, when Bassanio comes back to save Antonio, at first Bassanio he really just agreed with Antonio after he made a deal that would actually end his life twice, and however Bassanio did come back to save him, which really shows the bond that these two have had for many years, and yeah, I find it really interesting that the first character presented in this story will not necessarily be the protagonist. You would say Portia is the protagonist, her need for a husband and how it impacts the whole story. But I still feel that Antonio is a really important character, and his loyalty really sets him apart from the other characters.
So I believe that Antonio, yes, is a very important character to the story, but I believe that kind of throughout the story he's quite a passive character and in turn kind of a weak character rather than a strong protagonist that most plays or works of fiction would be centered around. Since Antonio kind of just listens to Bassanio's plan and kind of just goes with it, he doesn't have any kind of his own motivation for going through kind of other than just being a good friend. While you do bring up the point that he might be he kind of loves Bassanio, I still feel like he just kind of goes with his feelings or his liking of Bassanio, and he just agrees to put his life on the line for such a danger. Well, not only his life, but his fortune on the line for something as trivial as going off to marry someone, and he kind of just gets strung along the entire play because he doesn't get himself out of his own situation. He's ultimately rescued by Portia and Bassanio, and he seems to be just a weak character overall, rather than a protagonist who kind of drives the story forward.
I understand what Darren says, how it's kind of implied at the start of the play that he's supposed to be a strong character, because first off, he's the first person to tell that. Second off, he's also the said merchant, the title Merchant of Venice. But what Darren says does make a lot of sense, because a lot of the time he's really just there in the middle of the deal, because Portia, although she's a woman and she's just supposed to be weak, she does come out quite strong in the play. Does play an important role for Antonio's life, first of all. And yes, you could say Antonio is important because he's part of the deal, right? But I don't think that what he does is really heroically symbolic. Getting yourself into a deal that could cost you your life isn't supposed to be model for people to reason to seek out. I think Portia being able to save Antonio from the jaws of death is what's really to be lived up to.
My turn. I do agree with y'all that Antonio does end up playing a much more minor role in the play. However, I would like to remind you that he does play a major role in the play because he is the one that, in essence, is like at the center of the plot. He's the one that makes the deal, and if he never made that deal, well, we wouldn't really have much of a story now, would we? Antonio. God dang it, I lost my I've almost got it back. Yes. Okay, y'all remember that chapter from How to Read Literature Like a Professor, yes? Never stand next to the hero, yes? I'd like to remind you that Antonio is the best friend of Bassanio in this play, and according to this interpretation, because he stands by the protagonist of the play, he ends up almost getting killed. So y'all see what I'm saying here, right? And I've actually gone about 20 seconds over.
So to summarize everything, well, at first I would agree with you that yes, Antonio is the main important character. If he didn't make a deal with Sherlock, none of this would have happened, possibly. But Bassanio wouldn't have married Portia. Portia might have married someone else, and Sherlock wouldn't have had that deal. But I still wouldn't call it the protagonist of the story because, just as Peter said, I would probably give that role to Portia. She did end up saving Antonio's life, and she was the main figure in terms of she was Bassanio's main interest, and just to summarize everything, Antonio is really seen as a weak character even at the beginning, where you would likely predict that he'd be somehow a hero, but really he just would sacrifice anything for his friend Bassanio.
Oh wait, some.
Don't just.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my
bad. Okay, hold on. I need to open up the surface. Okay, yes. Well, feel free to start the timer now. All right. I'd like to talk about the different caskets in the story and different things they symbolize and like a sort of common theme behind them all. I would like to argue that despite some things that you may read, that there's a sort of element of humility behind these caskets or boxes or it doesn't matter. Okay. This puzzle game, this game was set up to judge people partially based on their humbleness. For example, those who chose the gold casket, number one, as we saw in the play, the person who chose that casket, they were partially enamored by the gold of the box. Second, by choosing that gold box, you are saying that for some reason you should get what many people desire, that you are special for some reason and that you deserve to get what's in that box, or that you should get what's in that box. Going on to the silver box, the box on the inscription on this box said something along the lines of you'll get what you deserve. Now, the person who chose the silver box, while silver isn't quite as flashy as gold, no one can deny that it's still considered a precious metal. Also, because of the inscription on the box, it said you'll get what you deserve. The person who chose this box was saying that of all the people who come here, that of all people that for some reason you deserve to marry Portia. Alright, and I feel like that's somewhat prideful or even arrogant, that you would say that, I mean, many rich and powerful people have come here, and that out of all of them, you for some reason are better than them in some sense that you should get to marry Portia. However, the lead box, many people were put off immediately by the lead just because it's such a common metal, it's nowhere near as flashy as the silver, or even the gold box. However, by the description on the casket, it says that it says something along the lines that you will have to risk everything that you have in order to marry Portia, which does hold some truth to it because sacrifice is a large part of marriage, because when you're married, you're probably going to have to end up compromising a lot. Additionally, by choosing this lead box, they're saying that you don't deserve Portia because you just deserve her, or that you're saying that you deserve it because you will risk all that you have in order to marry her, and that even along with making that oath, you remember that oath that the people take before choosing the box. You say that you will not ever try to marry someone again. That is also a huge risk that you take by playing this little game, and the lead box says you will take a large risk in order to marry Portia. That's all I have to say, and I think I've gone about 30 seconds over.
Yeah, could you kind of give us your overall quote to tie everything together?
Oh,
That's a requirement for the actual scene.
wait, what? It is? Oh, I need a quote. Hold on.
Could your quote just be?
Alright, how about we
Oh,
start
let me just.
analyzing and you put in your quote.
Sure.
I'll go.
Okay.
Alright, so what I find really interesting about Bassanio's decision is that, just like what Darren said at the beginning, Bassanio really, it could be seen that he doesn't really love Portia, he just did it for the money. And him, you could call this like, he could be shown like him being greedy and not really thinking about her, but at the end he did choose the right choice with the lead basket, and that could kind of also go with Bassanio's changes throughout the play, like how it could be interpreted that he would have chose the gold basket by his behavior in this way. But as the time goes on, he soon realizes that Antonio, it's his whole life for him, and he went back to save him, and this could also be tied into his different thoughts.
I'd say really choice of the lead box
That point when I said haven't seen 3 actual everyone's on something.
it is taking stop you're everyone else for the rest of your life, and then out of all those boxes, you'd think that the box that has the smallest chance of being one. So it does seem like risk of unfortunately. I think he got really well. However, I do want to say that I don't really think these boxes held that much significance as defining his personality to like intentionally. I feel like they were really just like a visual that got people to see who's really risky. I don't think that if I had a gold box or if I had a silver box for game, I would get right. I feel like it's just a little bit of
So I agree with Rohan and Peter that it's kind of like a personality. Well, not want to say personality, kind of a test of weed out who's kind of worthy of marrying Portia, as if you kind of got blinded by the gold, it's kind of indicative of you marrying Portia only for her wealth and her gold, in a sense. Whereas in the silver, it's kind of like, I don't want to say kind of roots out the nice guys, it's like, it's what you deserve, kind of showing how the men who marry Portia, or men who wish to marry Portia, are kind of entitled, or they believe that they're entitled to marry her, and as well their wealth. Whereas if you were to pick the lead, which is, you know, like what Evan said, nowhere near as flashy or lustrous as gold and silver, you're kind of risking everything. As the boxes kind of seen as a way to kind of describe Portia, whether you believe that she's a golden box, like, you know, the best thing in the world, silver, you know, very well, like what you deserve, or lead, it's kind of the risk you take, whereas where you kind of risk everything and hope to God that you're correct and marry Portia by choosing the lead box.
Alright, my turn?
Yeah, you got your summary.
Alright, I'd like to say that I like how all of you were in agreement over like how these boxes said something about the people choosing them, not necessarily like what Peter said, their entire personality, but it gave you an idea about what these people were like. One of the boxes really spoke to me about what their significance could be, the silver box, and how this entire test tied into humility. Like what Darren said, the people who chose the silver box had a sort of entitlement, or I'd like to say even a sort of arrogance. Portia says in the story, this box says, "Who chooseth me?" Wait a second. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. This, because people thought that they'd get Portia when they chose this, they seemed sort of entitled or arrogant. And I'd like to add that Portia actually spoke about previous suitors who she said seemed to be arrogant and talked nothing but about how they like want wars and sort of things like that. I mean, y'all get me, right? Yeah. All right. I've actually gone over time a little bit. All right.
Okay, so we're supposed to debrief. We got 2 minutes left. I'm not really sure how to do it.
How long is the debrief supposed to be?
Does not specify.
So what
I think we should just kind of like reflect on what we all said. So
I mean, like, it does make sense though how like everybody's ideas does contribute a bit to the story though. Like, everybody's well, what we all get out from the play is still different because this is literature, right? Because literature can be interpreted in all different ways. But I'm like, I feel like Shakespeare is basically like plot modern life. The way I actually like how he interpreted it as like the story like involves lots of small things that really define characteristics and personalities. And I don't like
I kind of took like the more nihilistic view that Bassanio loves.
My folks, do well, do the work,
or something like that. Like really nihilistic that Bassanio wants her for her money, whereas Evan thought of like a test of character, and Peter saw it
Sure,
as
it didn't have to be that long.
a reflection of modern life.
Well, whatever the
life in
time
general.
limit was for your discussion is all.
And I think it's just like it's all onto our own interpretations, as Peter said.
I do feel like the box test, I feel like that was a sort of test of personality, just because
As long as you go through the discussion.
the father who set up this test, they wanted a good suitor for their daughter, and this was his method of testing the personality of these different suitors and weeding out the bad guys and finding people who were suitable for her. After all, it would be unreasonable to set up this test without reason. There had to be some sort of reason he set up this test.
So just stop where you are, guys, and it'll be fine. Upload what you have. And